Good morning. Today I'm Blessing. My name is Blessing, and I'm today's host for Radio Relax. Um, I heard that many countries actually prosecute the idea of the death penalty. I know that the UK doesn't particularly go with this idea, but I know that just before Donald Trump left his position as president, he went ahead and prosecuted a teen. He allowed him to go through a trial and went through the procedures of a death penalty through electrocution. And I want to be able to discuss with my hostess here, about her opinion upon the death penalty and whether it should be prosecuted in other countries. And it's a general controversial topic that I would like to be able to talk upon. So, Andrea, how do you feel? How are you
Hi, how
doing?
are you? I'm good. Thank you. How about you?
I'm doing just fine. What do you think about the death penalty?
Oh my god, I think that that's really a controversial topic to talk, and not many people are informed a lot about that. I just knew a bit because of BBC, and yeah, but I think that that's really hard to discuss because so many people have different opinions about that.
Yeah, I understand. It's a difficult topic to talk about, isn't it? But at some point, we do need to talk about the topic in general, even though it's controversial, because death penalty, it really depends on the crime and where it technically falls under. Because there's a lot of people, or specifically when we're talking about Donald Trump, he used that power, but he used it in a racial stereotypical way to the point where a lot of people had to defend the team for what he had to go through because he was black and he was put through a position that wasn't fair. It was injustice. So I want to be able to get to understand your opinions, your views, and be able to talk about more about the death penalty as a whole and whether some countries should continue the idea of prosecuting the death penalty as a final judgment, or we should impeach them completely. So, what do you think now?
What do I think about Donald Trump?
What do you think
Oh,
about the death penalty in some countries? Do you think it's fair?
Um, I think that is like Europe. I think that they maybe can create another way to independence, but in a good way for all of the country. Because as we can see, Europe is like a union, and there's different countries here. Like, is another union like United Kingdom, but I think that the independence needs to look in a just way for everyone. Like because some countries in United States are really huge and have a huge impact right now, as we can see, like um, Washington. Uh, oh my God, I don't know what to think about it because we need to see the perspective of another people and what they think about it because as we live in another country we don't know like how it's like that in a true way, like if people are hiding some things or not.
I understand. But the situation with Donald Trump and that black teen that went through prosecution, it was so bad to the point where celebrities like Kim Kardashian had to go ahead and voice her opinion upon the topic, saying that it was unfair, it's injustice, and the fact that he was colored, it just made situations even worse. So, in a way, how do you feel about Donald Trump stepping down or technically losing the election?
I think that he needs to admit that he did so many things wrong. I know that he did good things like to reduce the poverty in United States, but in what way, like
Yeah.
in a wrong way.
Out of
And using people like famous people, celebrities to opinion about him to say good things about him because that people has a good influence in another in young persons, young people. I don't know. I think that he just admit and take good like that.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. With the elections being done and over with, and we obviously now have Joe Biden as our new president for the USA. Obviously, they're both just as bad as each other, but most people believe that Joe Biden is the better good out of the bad between the both. Um, but personally, I hope that Joe Biden doesn't go ahead and discriminate or racially um, accuse a lot of innocent people there in general, and hope that the situation that Donald Trump had put that child, that black teen through, would never prosecute again. But thinking about the death penalty in general, the death penalty in general, it means that someone has to take your own life away for a crime that you had committed. Do you think that's just like justified? Is it fair?
Um, as we right now, we can see that Joe Biden is doing like something good. I hope that he's not gonna to becoming another Donald Trump in the terms of racism with people, because I saw a article about BBC that he decided to work with people like from different cultures like Latin, Asians, Indians, black people, which Donald Trump didn't do that, and that affects people to create negative environment to another people. As
That's
we
a
can
true
see,
point.
yeah,
That's a true point. Because I remember in the beginning of his election, Donald Trump, of course, I think around 2016 or 2017, he did something where he built a wall to block out the Mexicans. How do you feel about
yeah.
that?
Oh my god, really, really bad about that, because it's like you are you are doing like it's affecting from both parts, because I saw so many documentaries about Mexican people trying to go to the limit, and it's really hard. I know that so many people dying during that, because um it's really sad to see people trying to get a new dream about the American dream, but they have to sacrifice their own self, they self, like it's really hard because they need to cross a huge and need to work a lot to go to America. But if they're gonna do something good to this country, like working, not do any crime or anything, I think they should let them accept to that. But if like they are gonna just like narcos or all of the things, why trying to do that? I know that that can help to Mexico, but I don't know.
No, I understand. So you have a true point there. It is a true point. The idea of Donald Trump have like blocking out citizens, people in general, to live in a country that sadly enough at the time he was considered president at. I find that very cruel, evil, and just very unjustly in so many manners and ways, because who are you to be telling me that I can't stay or build a future in this specific country? Um, at that point as well, even around the time when he decided he wanted to build the wall of Mexico, sorry, before that, I think even before he was elected president, at some point he said something along the lines of he wants to ban all Islamic people to come into the country. And at that point, that doesn't even make sense. Like, what's your
Yeah.
thoughts on this?
Yeah, like he's discriminated all cultures as well as he did with the virus. He said like the Chinese virus, not the coronavirus, which is not generated by Chinese people. Maybe someone from another background decided to create that, or I don't know. But in the time that he's looking just for the economy of the country, not like the mental health of all of the country, like how they're gonna be, because this he's separating families, because it's really hard to see your family in another country and just go there by a line that it's really doesn't help to everyone.
No, I agree with you 100%. I consider him to be very irresponsible in a way. You said it yourself, he only thought of the economy. At this point, we already know that he doesn't have any intentions toward bettering the country at the time, anyways, because he's obviously gone now. Obviously, he had no intentions of bettering the country, but worsening it. In terms of the mental health and the reputation of America, it sunk so low to the
Mm.
point where he was considered to even create another world war, sorry, and that's when it got pretty bad. So honestly, it's considered to be irresponsible what he did. And for the COVID-19 as well, I agree with you. He was being very absolutely just ridiculous at that point. The way he was going on and just attacking other cultures, saying, "Oh, the Chinese created this virus," when he was giving misleading information as well and posting it on social media. Now, obviously, we know that all of his accounts are now gone on all social media platforms just because of how irresponsible he is. And
Mm.
obviously, I'm very grateful that a lot of things are now changed, and hopefully, Joe Biden can better the country and send the country in a better future. But that's just my thoughts upon this.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think that he's he's creating a negative vibe to all people that is following him, as he did to create this huge attack to the Capitol that was just influenced by him. Like, if he can do that with a important place in the United States, he can do worse thing, because so many people follow him, and most of them are Americans, which they have the like they can do it because they are from there. But at the same time, I think that he's not helping the country. He's making a bad situation that Biden couldn't control that.
Sorry about that. Um, I do agree 100%. Donald Trump was supposed to be a leader. A lot of people were supposed to follow him and be able to build a path for themselves. And in the end of the day, my opinion, honestly, I wouldn't follow for a leader who didn't have a good vision for the future,
Yeah.
obviously. But and then there's a lot of people that also see that Donald Trump had potential and could have still been a good president. But what do you think? Do you think he had potential? Do you think he was responsible? Do you think, you
I
know?
think that he's irresponsible, but he had some potential that make people follow him, and which he think that he's doing well. But at the same time, I don't know, because the way that he's creating all of his potential to influence to people, it's really bad, because they are making hate and discriminate people from another colors, which is really bad, because as his background of him is from Germany, like his grandfather, all of this, and he doesn't like hate white people like from Europeans or white people. But when it's like someone more in terms like more black about like him, he's creating a bad situation, and people are reacting about that. As we can see, the Black Lives Matter, that was a really has a huge impact to people.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Black Lives Matter was a crucial moment in time in history, actually, where a lot of people were not able to, give out their voices and break the silence. Donald Trump, he did not better the situation, but only made things quite worse. And if it was for the case that he did something beneficial for a small amount of time, I'm assuming that he didn't have any good intentions towards it. Donald Trump has been considered pretty discriminatory, um, racist, and he's been insulted in many cultures. And to because be considered a leader and not considered all of these factors and change them, then you know that there's something wrong here. But at the end of the day, like I said earlier on, that we do have a new president for the USA, and we do honestly hope that Joe Biden would make a difference. America hopefully will now be able to become more of a better country with poverty being so high and the economy as well. The economy is building itself, but is it catching up? A lot of people are losing jobs with the COVID-19 situation, and many are just in general don't have homes. So, what do you think we can? What ways can we think of that can help better the country?
Mm, I think that like the thing that moves the country is people. So if people can help each other, like giving work and buying things like just from them, the United States, because right now the economy of the United States is going down. China is going to be the first country with the highest economy in like 2 years, and I think that that's bothered him, like Donald Trump, and something that as he did bad things that becoming to him like this, he's receiving all of these things. um Maybe they can help with, I think that a huge industry in America is cine, the movies, films, And if he do like films in a good way without the ideology, sorry, because he when you see films from Hollywood, you can see that always the a leader that is from that.
It's okay. Thank you, Andrea. Andrea.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Welcome back. I'm so sorry about that. I didn't realize that the break will coming pretty early towards our speech. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
But
it's fine.
how are you feeling now?
I don't know. I'm confused.
I'm so sorry. Today was kind of confusing, but obviously we'll get better at this situations job as well. What we're talking about what's it called? USA, Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Um, with everything that we're talking about the economy and how we can better the USA. Obviously, we're no presidents, we're no government. We don't have much other than our voices. But something I said earlier on was how Donald Trump, the one thing that he did wrong was he was discriminatory, racist, and didn't he wasn't really cultural appropriate. Like he was really inappropriate about the situations. So, um, like honestly, one thing that I feel like America should do is, you know, build up like some type of resilience. You understand? Because there was this artist called Shepard Fairey, and he created these nice artistic posters, protest art that's called We the People, where it's a series. He's done it with two other companions artists, and he created a series of artwork. One with a woman who is Islamic wearing a hijab, one that's Latina, and one that's black, and it just shows how it doesn't matter however you look like, whatever cultural background that you're from or ethnic background that you're from, that we are all equally Americans, and that, you know, equality is still important in the USA. But what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that equality is we need to think about like it's something normal because it is like stop judging people about their colors or just judge them about their thoughts or their argument to talk about different topics because someone I think that the color doesn't your color doesn't um like bother you or like doesn't help you to find another ways to grow up you and your where you're from or your country. I think that America really helps people, but just about the convenience.
I agree with you. America does produce a lot of films, like you talked about earlier, and that's why a lot of going to Hollywood is going to America. Sorry, is like the Hollywood dreams for many actors and actresses. Um, mass production goes along in that country as well, producing many products that's been distributed across the world, many movies as well. I agree with you 100%. But now I want to talk more about equality, and we can talk about it more or less in America because I think America would be a good example. Equality, sorry, is when we consider all of us, all different cultures, ethnic backgrounds, all diversity. We are all considered equal. But do you think America has enough equality?
I think that now that teenagers or younger people are creating, or they are being more viewed in social medias, they are normalizing all of the things to like be black or be like brunette and be American. Like your color doesn't need doesn't need to see like your background. I know that's really important because I know that um people, when you see like you have black hair, you are brunette, your skin is dark, they think, okay, where you from? Just when you say I'm from America, they tell you, but where are you really from? Like they asking you about your color, not about how you can help this country. I think that that's something racism that we need to normalize.
Do you think the way that most Americans like the way they were brought up, do you think they were brought up to bring about stereotypes? Because a lot of people that are stereotypical are people that don't understand. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think that there are so many stereotypes that really just close the mind to see how people can be in a truly way, because as you can when you stereotype someone like a Latina, you just think a only type of Latina, like this exotic woman that is it's really hot or something like that. But I think that that's not, you cannot define someone just in a good in one way, because that's not the reality.
I agree with you. Like I said, stereotypical people are people that don't understand certain things, and I think in a way, before Donald Trump was ever considered president, we had Barack Obama, isn't it? Obama did his best to better the country, and I think he made a major impact. One of the things that he's considered to do, oh, actually has tried doing in the past, was try banning the use of guns and lethal weapons such as for some types of forms of guns. And one thing that, sadly enough, the idea failed, the ideology of it, of banning all of these type of lethal weapons failed because a lot of people found the use of guns, they were able to utilize the use of it. And if that be through the use of protection or through the use of entertainment, which I honestly find very dangerous, people didn't want guns to be banned. They petitioned against it, and obviously, sadly enough, they won the case. Do you think guns should be illegal in the USA?
I think that if you're gonna use a gun, you need to be good mentally, because you need to control your feelings, because when you are down, you don't know what you're gonna do to feel better, either to do something good or bad to you or another people. So I think that if I think that it can be legal, but you need to have a test before to have a gun.
I agree with you. It's like school shootings. Most school shootings take place with the student actually attending the school with lack of mental preparation. Not even preparation, because that's not something you should be doing to begin with. It's the idea of them not being mentally okay. And I'm not saying in terms of they have some type of mental disorder. I'm saying in terms of they probably didn't have a good life in the school, or they were bullied to the point where they cracked, they wasn't able to take it anymore, to the point where they had to just take a gun and start, shooting, causing a mass shooting. The only problem is that you're right. It can be considered legal if we take tests or do documents, like have a license for it. But it's in America. It's practically easy to find a gun anywhere. Your parents can even hide it in your drawer, and you could just take it. So,
Yeah.
how do
Wow.
you think we can prevent mass shootings in schools in America? Of course.
um to have more information about that, how can affect you and how can affect that people. because we need to think about ourselves, but as well we need to put like how it's gonna affect like my friends or my family. Like if a gun, because a gun is something that we need to be really careful. You need to control that good, because sometimes when you feel, when you don't know how to act about something, you just feel strong enough to use that. But I think that it really can be dangerous. I know that America is a dangerous place in time in terms of crime, but it's not like an excuse to have one.
I agree with you 100%. Because in a way, if you think about it as well, we're all humans. We all have emotions, and at some point, we can all eventually have an emotional breakdown. And if someone were to consider to, like for example, the emotion anger, if you're angry, some people tend to go out of a rage and start breaking stuff. It's like, and you can't stop because you're in the moment. You can't stop until you realize what you've done and it was wrong. That's how most mass shootings in America can take place. You're angry at someone, you threaten someone, you shoot them, or you shoot the school as well, even though most of the students that attended the school didn't do much or anything at all. And then they end up realizing it's either what I did was right or wrong, depending on the viewer, for them at least. And it causes a consequence. It's a sad consequence because a lot of people are losing their lives just through such lethal weapons. Like I'm not saying the whole like I can't say that America is a complete dangerous place because practically there's no safe place in this world. Even in the UK, we have what's it called, knife crime. We have stabbings as well. Nowhere in this world is safe. So I really believe a lot of people need to start bettering themselves in their ideologies towards lethal weapons and the use of them.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree with you. Wow.
Thank you. The idea of it, I honestly would like to be able to think that both me and you think of ideas on how we can, find better use towards these lethal weapons. If, like I said, they're lethal, they shouldn't be used. But if they're going to be considered legal in certain countries, they should be used appropriately. How do you think we can be able to make like a safety mechanism towards getting a hold on these type of dangerous equipment like guns, for example?
Yeah, yeah. I completely agree with you in terms of like it's not necessary to have a gun to defend yourself, because it's really dangerous and you need to know a lot about that. When I was in army, like in cadets, like in this that is for younger people, they were teaching to how to use a gun, but it's really scared because you sometimes you need to control that, but you don't have like this um oh my god, these feelings that you are taking a gun to do something good or bad, something is wrong, or how it's gonna affect that, because sometimes it can affect to your mental health, like because I think that gang had created so many bad things in this world that it doesn't should exist.
No, I agree with you 100%. Like I said, like we said earlier on, guns are pretty accessible. Anyone can get one. Like I said, in your mom's drawer, you can get it in the USA. But in the UK, when we talk about stabbings and knives they're pretty much everywhere. You can get it from the simple place as your kitchen
Yeah.
cupboard, your kitchen drawers. How can we try our best to minimize the dangers of a knife and being able to take it out?
Oh my god, nice. I'm really scared about these things. I think that why do we need to find a reason to use bad things to another people just to defend yourself? I think that just don't, not avoid, but like uh, find a good way to resolve a thing that you have, or a something that is creating um and bad opinion or argument about you, but not in a dangerous way that needs to have something in your hands to create that bad vibe. I don't know. It's really scary to have this.
No, I agree with you. The idea, obviously, weapons are very dangerous and scary. I wouldn't prefer anything. If I could, I would say at least a taser gun because at least that's safe, I believe. But it's the idea of people not resorting to violence, but using their words to obviously help a situation. But obviously, in some cases, some people believe that words are not enough. Because a
Mm.
lot, like my personal belief, I do believe that talk is considered cheap. You need to be able to, show me your actions and I'll believe it from there. A lot
Yeah.
of people can take that interpretation as a wrong idea. Like, I don't believe that you're gonna fix this situation by talking. The safest thing we can do is I want to make sure that just in case you have anything actioned in plan, I will make sure I bring a weapon, and that's what some people have. That's the idea people will bring. So what can we do? Seriously, there's nothing we can actually do right now. We can only talk about it and bring awareness, but that's pretty much all we can do.
Yeah, and right now, like in 21st century, there is so many gangs. Like people from schools, they say like, "Come to my group," or "Come," like from on an early years, it's starting to growing up. All of the things that you don't know, like you need to have good information about that. How can this have a impact in the UK, or not only on the in your country, like in everywhere do you go? Just don't like think that you are a cool person to have a arm in your oh my god, no.
I understand what you mean. The idea of trying to fit in by having a weapon doesn't make you any better than anyone else. It
Yeah.
makes you more of a criminal depending on the way you use it. Yes, I understand they're considered for safety, but at the same time, you're taking someone else's life. You're the blood of the person that you just killed will forever stay in your hands. And I don't know how the sentencing works in the USA, but I feel like the USA is normalizing the deaths of people through guns way too much, and I think we should, well, they should consider a way to, you know, work on it. Banning guns again or trying to do it again would be a better solution, but would it be enough?
Oh wow, yes. It's really hard to listen that it's something normal right now because it shouldn't be. Like there is no reason. I think that that really makes it can create wars as we see, like the first one, the second world war, that not only affects two countries, that just affect like entire world. Either it's just for two different ideas of two people.
I agree with you. And the way the USA, sorry, is very stereotypical. Now I personally believe that many will use their weapons as a hate crime, as a form, because people can have a hate crime towards people, but they can go way beyond that point towards to the point where they can end up hurting someone through hate crime. So now I don't even know. The USA needs to work on their position, their safety mechanism. Because if obviously people are taking guns and weapons like that because they don't feel safe. So what is the USA going to do about making people feel safe to the point where they don't need weapons anymore?
Yes, as well. Like if you don't feel safe in your home, how are you gonna feel safe in a place that there is millions of people? Because USA is has a huge population right now, and to don't feel safe just in your own house, how is going to be this world in like 10 years?
I agree with you. You like staying in the comfort of your own house. It's good. It's nice. It's like heartwarming, isn't it? Because you're able to feel safe. Because I was thinking about this yesterday. So I know a lot of people, if they're not able to afford a house, they sleep in their cars. And I thought of the idea of being very terrifying because you're outside, you're not safe, like anything can happen. But then I
Yeah.
came to a realization as well, houses, although you can stay in your house and your house can be built off better equipment and material, your house is still technically outside. So you're just as equally as not safe as someone that's in a car. You see what I mean? So
Yeah.
at this point, even updating your equipment to be able to, proceed with safety precautions, I don't think this would ever be enough. There's no way to ever be able to know that you'll be 100% safe because anything in this world can happen. You can say hello to someone and never see them again the next day. So the idea of it is it's really sad. It's a topic that needed to be talked about, obviously. But now, it's technically what we're talking about the death penalty earlier on today. Is it is it right for a prosecutor to take someone's life away like that? Do they have the right to play the the role of God? Is it right?
The independization, wow. It's um I want to see how the US is gonna to manage that, because an independization is something that takes a lot of time and takes like a huge part of the United States to make now another country. Wow. I really want to see that, but I think that it really depends about people that lives there. Like like now we live in the UK, we have our own ideology, but we don't know how is the real life there to have this, why they want to this. Just good listen, but good arguments to to have this independence.
You're right, independence as well. A lot of people be fighting for it. Something that America does actually lack as well. A lot of people follow. Obviously, there's rules put into place for certain reasons, obviously, and the idea of people saying rules are meant to be broken, the ideology of it, I understand, but please, I beg, don't do it. Independence is one thing I believe a lot of people lack in America as well, because the idea of being commanded like every single day, watched and followed, being able to be, it's like a precaution because obviously if you have a weapon, you're gonna have to be sorted out, being able to be noticed that you have something on you and you need to be aware of your surroundings as well. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yes, I know.
At this point, I really believe that we've done a lot for today. I think we've talked a lot about this topic, and I'm honestly I'm grateful that I had this time to discuss this with you, Andrea.
I
Um,
say.
I think this would be a good time to end our show for today.
Yeah, I really enjoying to talk about this topic, and let's see what we can find another things to make a bit of change and to our arguments. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having you, Andrea. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.